Oh, this little baby from 47, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
Huh? Yes, he just took it off.
Yeah, so that was kind of different.
Here, there was an ambulance and a fire truck next to the police station. Was that, I think that was what you're talking about, maybe?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
This little baby died in 1947.
Oh,
We were on a look for her. They insisted.
there you go.
They're all
What's
like
wrong?
that. What's wrong? Okay, are they?
Recycling. Oh,
Hey, how are
that's
you?
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Albany City Hospital. I've never heard of that. No,
Take my
I
phone.
wonder if it was, I wonder if it was like,
Albany
maybe it was like a poor person, or no? No? I bet you it would be Albany Memorial. Like that.
Oh, maybe Albany Memorial. I know there's, Child's Hospital, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, so when I called Sam couldn't find anything. Family was looking all over for her,
Oh,
but we found her.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
she was good. Deborah Dolores. Her love. She was only a week old.
So they said that
Sad.
the EC wanted us to put that in there, so.
So was it her,
They said.
like her
Sister,
siblings?
yeah,
Yeah.
sister.
That
That happens quite frequently because a lot of these, especially stillborns, were buried in potter's field.
Right, right.
And there's no, so it's nice that we can find
Wonder if her dad was had been in the war.
it. Her father, yes, her father was, because we buried him. They were in their early 20s, so he might have been out of the war, figure 18,
Just out,
19.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hmm.
I'd like to call to order the Schenectady City Council Committee meeting for Monday, July 3rd, 2023. The first committee is Finance.
I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee. There are 6 items on the agenda tonight, first of which will be the supplemental bond ordinance for North Ferry Street pump station by Ms. Pryor.
You're gonna have to speak.
Oh, okay, Madam President, City Council, what we have here is the supplemental bond issue for the North Ferry Street Pump Station. Originally, back in 2019, we had passed a bond ordinance for $24 million for the project. We are not borrowing $24 million. Actually, our borrowing is going to be 7.7. But as we're going through the process of finalizing our grants and our EFC no interest loan and low interest loans, DEC and the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation want us to amend that bond resolution to what the total cost will be, which is on the next page, of $25,233,524.25 or 525. So what we're looking to do is amend it to what that total cost of the project is going to be, and that'll help us go along and be able to receive our the balance of our grants and our low interest loans and 0% interest loans.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pryor. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Move it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. The next item on the agenda is the bond ordinance for Water Resource Recovery Facility Resilience Project.
Okay, yes. Now, we are, as you know, with the ARPA and the New York State, they're starting to put a lot of money into grants for water and sewer and infrastructure. What we're doing here is the pumps at our wastewater treatment plant right now are old. They're from 1972, and actually, as we built our new pump station, it's actually not. I would say it has enough capacity if there's a big storm for us to put the effluent water, because it's on gravitational now, it wouldn't be able to put it back into the river. So what we need is new pumps and electricity so that we can pump the effluent waters back into into the river without having it back up throughout the streets. Again, this is one of those projects, we are setting this bond resolution up so that we can go out and see what the type of grants that we can get through this. And we're actually hoping to get at least 90% of grants on this. So this will help us toward that just by passing a resolution. Again, we'll come back when we actually going to do the project and ask, borrow money if we have to or get money. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to get at least 90% in grants.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. The next item on the agenda is the bond ordinance for Washington Avenue Pump Station.
And
Mr.
this again is the same thing, but we want to go out and get money and grants for this. But like I said, you can tell that pump station right now is not operational. It needs all new electrical stuff. And you can tell when we have these large storms and stuff, how the SEC parking lot gets flooded, and then below behind what's that called, the Frog Alley gets flooded down there. It's because the pump station is not turning on, and so this is the whole deal. Get grants and money to redo it. And I know that this is one of the projects that we have money put away too, if we can't get the total amount of grants and stuff we have. This is going to be done, I think, no matter what. But that's what we're asking for.
Okay.
So this, so getting this, this positions us better. You know,
Yes,
to
right.
get the grant. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll move it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
And I don't know if this went on, but the secret, did it go on the table thing?
It is not here yet.
Okay, it is. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was on.
So the next item on the agenda tonight is the seeker for
Okay, right.
Washington Avenue Pump Station and
Right.
Water Resource Recovery Facility Resiliency Project. Mr. Ferrari?
Right, this is the seeker, this was, DEC asked us to put this on, the seeker for us to put on even with our bond resolutions. Even though these, as you read it, the pump station stuff is mostly for, what's it called? For repairs and maintenance and putting pipes, so it's a type 2. It really is not gonna, it's not gonna affect the environment at all, but they wanted to put us in there to see, for them, again, what I was told was as we put this in as a seeker, it'll help us put her higher on the list for that. So, Ms. Porterfield had mentioned one of the things that we will conduct a secondary environment when it's completed. But like I said, I think as we go through it before the end of the stuff, it will be satisfied our review. So there's no impact on it now, and it's a type 2. So.
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
No.
Ms.
I just
Porterfield?
want to clarify that in the evaluation analysis, it said that the city is going to conduct a secondary environmental review to verify the findings, and I just wanted to clarify, because I've not seen that before. So I just want to make sure before we sign this,
Right.
that that's something, I'm going to get clarity on that.
Correct. And I'll get back to you, and I'll talk to Mike Miller on that to get back to us. But this is something they want us to put in both of the resolutions, and they want us to have the seeker on as a resolution also. This came directly from DEC.
Right. So with that being satisfied, then I would.
Okay. So if there are no other questions or concerns, can I get a motion with having that clarification also?
Yep.
I'll move it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. The next item on the agenda is the 2023 budget reallocation pursuant to agreement between the City of Schenectady and the Police Benevolent Association
Yes.
for 2023. Mr. Ferrari?
Yes, in March of 2023, the City Council passed a resolution for the labor agreement between the PBA and the City of Schenectady, which included raises and the different financial issues. At that time, even though we put in what we felt was going to cost us, for some reason we forgot to actually come to appropriate the money at the council to appropriate that money. So we're here actually asking to appropriate the cost of those raises and stuff. Yep, and I have a list, I think, on the second page. It shows where it's going and the total amount.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. And the last item on the agenda is a follow-up on
Okay.
ARPA contracts Mr. Ferrari and Ms. Diaz.
Yes, Ms. Diaz not gonna be here today. I thought Maurice was gonna be here, but I think he's coming later. On the contract issues, we've actually we're out to contract with the BCNI and with the Schenectady Foundation for the food, and also with Proctor's for putting in the handless washers and stuff like that. So we're moving forward on that. The 2 weeks went by so fast that we had so much to do. I didn't really get in contact as we spoke. I didn't really get in contact with other agencies, but I'm working on it. So we got these three more moving in. So every week we're trying to get at least another one in to figure it out. So like you said, I told Proctor's and all these agencies, come in, do the work, let's go. We got a contract now, go out there and get it done, right? So we want to spend the money as soon as possible.
Thank you.
I wish I had more fulfilling stuff. I tell you, that it just went by us so fast I didn't even realize it was 2 weeks already.
Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'm just gonna keep this on the agenda. for
Absolutely,
2 weeks.
yep.
All right,
Yep.
any other items that will fall before Finance Committee?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all's in favor? Aye.
Hi, and I want to thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ferrari.
So the next, I would like to call to order Public Safety Committee. We have one item on the agenda tonight. It's a discussion reducing city speed limit to 20 miles per hour. Ms. Patrick?
Yes, thank you. This was a carryover from 2 weeks ago. And I'd like to ask Mr. Lucio if he could talk to us about, the results or the information that he has from the Kings Road demonstration project.
Thank you. So last committee meeting, I gave you a plethora of information, went back, and one of the requests that was made was to look at data earlier, so that we could do comparison from the earlier information. So this is somewhat of an abbreviated version of it. We were able to, let's see if I can move that. One second, so I can try to move that out of the way. So we were able to collect some data from March 13th through March 19th. It is not totally complete because that wasn't the time period when they were installing them and testing them, but I think we got sufficient enough information that we can look at and take some data. So just as a refresher, there were 7 nodes there on different sections of Kings Road. The red and the yellow one mean that there's limited data on there, so I just wanted to show that. If you can read this, but I can get you copies of it. So this is comparing the volume from the March to the May dates. Give you an example. We'll go to let's see, we'll go to Mega Drive, and in March there were 10,000 vehicles going southbound for the week, and in May there's 15,000. So it's in the same area. There's definitely reasons for fluctuations, but just wanted to be able to give you that information. 7-day average, the 5th percentile speeds. Some of them are very similar, some of them are a little off. One's down by McDonald Avenue compared to, in March was 32.39 miles per hour, and in May it was 38.33. Again, some of them are very similar. Go to the other end at Albany and Kings Road. In March it was 19.96, and in May it was 21.4. Not a huge difference. The largest difference you're seeing is at the McDonald Avenue end. This is the difference in traffic volumes between the 2 dates. The blue ones are from March, and the brown and tan ones are from May. So you can see the difference in the counts. Relatively similar, but not, you're never going to see exactly. And this is 85 percentile speed. So this is really important. This is what we were looking to see, what the difference would be. They're relatively close to each other, not major changes. the note 7, which is on the bridge, that's, shows the largest discrepancy between 30 and maybe 36 or 37 miles an hour. I believe that's all I have for you. If you look at the speeds overall in March, the March numbers, about 9% of total vehicles that were over 35 miles an hour. And in the May, it's about 15 or maybe 15% over the speed limit. So it definitely did increase. It was 14%. So again, in March, 9% of the traffic was driving over 35 miles an hour, and in May, 14% driving over.
Very nice.
Questions on that information? I'm gonna ask Chris if he could chime in on this. We had some discussion with CDTC, and they provided a little guidance for us. I'm gonna ask if you would speak to that.
So after our last meeting, I reached out to the executive director at the Capital Region Transportation Council. It's the new name of the CDTC. They provided me with the DOT speed limit guidance paper that they're going with. That kind of lays out what we need to do to be able to change it. Generally, we have to, as it states here, cities and villages set speed limits on highways within their jurisdiction. New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law, Andrew and I talk about it, section 1643. Right here, we will need an engineering study by an engineer versed in traffic, which I worked with quite a few of them. And they do have some methods that they state here that they want you to go by to determine if it's an applicable situation to reduce the speed limit. So that is the next step that I'll be taking, is working with the DOT and one of our engineers on retainer to complete these steps under the vehicle traffic law so that we can move forward with this corridor.
And if I could just add for a second, although it's not radar, we're hoping that the information that we're collecting here would be acceptable in lieu of radar.
Yep, that's one of the questions we're gonna ask. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I can call you, sorry.
Do we need to do that piece before we can do the demonstration project on Kings Road?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's smarter to just go and then call it demonstration, because that could set a precedent of what's demonstrated. You can do a demonstration and then we're kind of, going around the law. So I would rather keep them in place so that the MPO send me to this, go to the PE, I'll work with the DOT who I work with all the time anyways, and we'll get something set up.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, John. Any other questions or comments? Mary? Ms. Warfield, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So, Mr. Coluccio, so are you saying that after the speed signs were put in, traffic went up? There was a higher percentage of traffic people going over 30?
What I said is in the March numbers,
Mhm.
9% of the total volume of traffic
Mhm.
were going over 35 miles an hour.
Mhm.
Now that could be, I had to go to that number because the buckets that the information is provided goes by fives and it goes, and since 30 is a legal speed limit,
Yeah.
I'm stuck in the middle there. I can't say 25 to 30 or 30 to 35, so I pick 30 to 35 to be fair because you gotta have a little leeway there, right? So the March numbers were 9% of the total vehicles were exceeding 35 miles an hour and 14% in the main numbers, but we're talking a couple 100,000 vehicles, we're not talking.
All right.
Right, so once we do this, we'll take some more numbers and see what we got.
All right.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Ms. Fetcher?
I just want to get a sense of whether you guys think we should put this back on in 2 weeks, or should we wait?
I can put it back on when I have something concrete. I'll just put it on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, it would give me, 2 weeks might be a
Too
little tight,
quick.
but I know that actually, hold on one second. If yeah, it might be a little quick, but we also have a big break after, which is good with a dark Friday coming up, so, well, Monday, I mean, so we'll be able to get something.
Okay.
Hopefully by August we'll get it. And I wanna work with John, we really haven't sat down and gone through all this and how much this data is gonna be acceptable by, like John was saying. If we can get it, it saves us a lot of time because this data is so readily available.
Right.
But it is new to a lot of people. A lot of communities do not have this kind of technology so readily available.
Right. I
And this is
appreciate it.
using video detection as opposed to radio.
Right. Thank you very much.
Definitely, Mr. Wallen. One of the things I was going to ask is I know there are probably residents within this area of the city, within Kings Road specifically, like watching for updates. Do you feel comfortable providing just an estimate of how long, and having realistic timelines and expectations will help gauge their understanding of how much additional time is needed? Is there a ballpark?
Yeah, I should, if you give me the month of July, I should have a whole program for this area because of the people I know and the information I already have and all the steps. You just give me till the first committee meeting in August and I should have a plan put together.
Thank you.
You got it.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll wait for Mr. Wallen to provide that new information. We'll add it back to the agenda.
Okay.
If there are no other items to
Thank
go
you.
forward, Public Safety Committee, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I'd like to call to order City Development and Planning. We have 9 items on the agenda. The first item is to authorize the issuance of a revocable permit number 676 to Destin Charter Prep School. Mr. Wallen.
Yes. Okay, in front of it, we have a vocal permit for 530 Franklin Street, where there is a charter prep school. It is the building 1 block up behind us on Franklin Street. They would like to install a blade sign, as we call them, typical what you would see on the 400 block of State Street and some of those. Blade sign will overhang the right-of-way on Franklin Street. Planning and zoning has approved it, and we see no reason to say otherwise.
Any questions, comments?
I'll move it.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 2, call for a public hearing to authorize the city to abandon and sell a portion of the public right-of-way at the corner of State Street and South Church Street.
That one, are we pulling that one?
Yes.
So this one we're gonna push off to the next meeting as we get some more information for the council.
Okay. Item number 3, authorize the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement with New York State Department of Transportation for the Craig Street pavement and bridge rehabilitation project.
Yeah, so this is an exciting one because this is a long time coming. This is to enter into a master agreement with the DOT for our Craig Street project. This was our 4-year project that started with the most successful linkage study in the Capital District history on Craig Street. It's also known as the corridor of hope linking Main Avenue and Albany Street along Craig. This was, we ran into some funding issues in the middle. COVID, did not help us necessarily, but we were able to secure all the funding. It is now a roughly $9.5 million federally funded project. So this is the master agreement for design. 95% paid for by the federal government and state in the amount of $938,000. So once we have this master agreement in place, we can start with our survey and design. We're hoping to have the project designed this year and the next, bid for next year. Construction most likely due to the size of the project. We will be doing work to the bridge over 890, reducing the width. We have a lot of things that we're looking to do on this corridor, probably making the largest public works projects I've done since Erie Boulevard. So it's an exciting project, and this is step 1.
Any questions, comments? Ms. Williams.
Mr. Wallen, what does that mean with bandwidth? Because I know definitely your office travels a lot, and we can see a lot of that from the projects that you're managing, definitely doing good work for the city. Does that mean you're having more people tied to one project for longer, or?
For this project, this is just more on me to manage. So we're going to be working with a team of engineers led by MJ Engineering in Clifton Park, and they are going to be dedicating, an engineering staff of 3 or 5 people full time to designing it. And then I'm just going to have to stay on this. But also, this is going to be a big project with the development department because they were so integral in it. But this is, out of all of our projects, even though this has been one of our top priority projects for 5 years. So we're really just excited to just see it because we've talked to the community about all these projects and really try to deliver. And this has been 4 years of talking. The community doesn't understand necessarily how hard it is to fund a project of this size, but we were able to do it, so we just want to get going and do it. And this is in the vein of, Cotton Hollow Bridge, $4.5 million, and did that. We're just starting next month, actually 2 weeks, we're starting Francis, in Forest and Holland and Forest and Maine. So we're really putting a lot of investment into the communities there, Mount Pleasant, Hamilton Hill. But no, I don't think this is going to be a problem for me bandwidth-wise. Hopefully, too, I'm going to have some projects sunsetting, unless there's some kind of a ARPA round 2, which is going to inundate me again. Let's hope, actually not for that.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. You got it.
Yes, so, yes, Mr.
So I was just thinking that, I know being a part of some of those planning meetings, that really had a pretty significant community engagement, I would say, which was really impressive. I was wondering, we have to kind of communicate that back out to the people who are part of that. I think that's just something.
Well, we're going to have another community engagement session once we get to it. So what we have to do is remember, much like everything else, a linkage study is a linkage study. You look at it, you engage with the community, and you find out what they want. But now this is engineering. So this is this company is going to do a complete survey of the entire right-of-way. What can we actually do? How do driveways affect it? What are our sight lines? There's going to be a lot. So certain things may change, certain things may, not be ideal, and then we're going to have to go and say, okay, to the community, this is what we're doing. We've been holding these meetings at the Electric City Barn. They've been very successful. I think we have a good plan of how to engage with the community at this point, through a series of, almost entertainment and trying to, we do raffles now. We try to make it interactive and fun, and we're going to have another one of those once we have our realistic design and not just picture. But we have to do that. We can't just show up and say, okay, now here it is. It's too much. Also, some people probably don't remember this is going back 2 years ago to what we talked about. So, and I think it's a good time to do it because we've just had 2 community meetings, one at Sikkim and one at the Mount Pleasant Library for our second linkage study, which is for Albany and Crane, which we touched on this and gave them the update. So I think the community's they're ready to see some progress, but we will not leave them. We will engage with them.
Anyone else? All right, so thank you very much for that. And yes, it has been a while, but it's coming, it's happening.
It's
So
coming.
that's exciting. All right, so, entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I
Oh,
am going to be Paul.
you're Paul, okay. All right, item number 4, to award bidding contract, request for purchase.
Annual,
Hmm?
our annual thing.
The sodium hypochlorite?
Mhm.
Okay,
So, like it says, we use this sodium hypochlorite every year. The chemical is used for city wastewater. We received a bid from GCI Jones of Sarasota. The amount was $91,000, is that correct?
mm-hmm. 90,000.
One of the things that we did have a note on is that the companies cannot hold pricing. The pricing on chemicals right now is just exponentially growing. So one of the things we're going to do is bid this now twice a year, make it a semi-annual bid to try to mitigate the cost increases as we go forward. So for right now, this is where we're going, but we're looking to authorize GCI Jones for $91,800.
Questions, comments?
I'll move it.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5, award and bidding contract for 2 contracts for the Rice Road Fluoridation Improvement Project.
Yep. So this is down at our Rice Road water treatment facility that we have there. The facility is in need of some repair, as it says. The fluoride, it's a chemical. It degrades things down there. So what we're looking to do is demolish and reconstruct bulk storage and the buildings and the associated infrastructure. If you were to go down there, you would see that the constant chemical down there, it just starts to break down the facility as you need. So we haven't done this in quite a while. We did put it out. We have a base bid. Let me show you what we had. We had 2 general contractors bid and 3 electrical. Schultz, we have worked with before, put in the low bid, and O'Connell Electric. We're working with O'Connell right now at our pool project. They've been great to work with. So the 2 bids that we're looking to award would be Schultz for our general and O'Connell for our electrical.
Questions? Comments?
I'll move it.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a great Fourth.
All right, you do the same. Thank you, Mr. Wallner.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the municipal endorsement for SICM application for the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. So SICM is doing a project where they're going to be doing, converting 82,000 pounds of food waste over the next 3 years. So they're not asking us for any money, but in order for them to apply for this grant, they need a resolution of support from the municipality. So that's what this ask is. All the information is there in your packet. And so I'm asking tonight if we would support their application.
Absolutely, I'll move it.
Any questions, comments? Move it?
Yes.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next 3 items are for property sales, items 7, 8, and 9, which will be done in executive session.
So, I'll move that we go into executive session.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're in executive session. The public would have to leave. Yeah. I can drink the bottle, they won't see me up here.